So first is the data analysis, right? And then we use word machine learning. What's the difference between data analysis versus machine learning? What's the difference? Anyone can participate. What's the difference?
Data analysis is
Mhm.
a human looking over data and visualizing so that people can make business decisions off of it.
Very good, very good. So if human is involved in generating reports, right? Reports or dashboard, right? We call dashboard with Power BI, right? Those cases where human is involved, either you are using Power BI or you're using Tableau, right? Excel. These are where human actively involved. It's a data analysis. Data analysis means you have past data, historical data. From historical data, you try to convert into graphical form, chart form, table form, and try to learn. Sometimes you go a little forward and you are trying to make predictions, but you are the one who is doing that. If you are doing that, you are learning from this graph and chart, and if you make a decisions, that's still called data analysis. Everything is manual, most of the aspect. Of course, you are going to use tool. You're using Power BI, you're using Tableau, you're using Excel. There are tools you are using, but the most powerful is you, that is data analysis. This area, you will get a lot of options, but salary will be around 80 to 100K. That's kind of because you are involved human aspect, more manual. When you go to machine learning, there are a lot of interesting things happen. From data analysis, people go to data analytics. Data analytics. We talk about last class a little bit, and it's worth repeating. As soon as you say data analytics, you are now using your knowledge, your personal knowledge, and you try to do programming. And there are two words we talked about last class, if you remember, simplifications and automations. So you try to do simplifications and automation. Anytime you see word automations means you are talking about Python or R language. So anytime when you study R, you're now moving step forward. From data analysis, now you're going to data analytics, which is a big jump. You are now can consider yourself, you are moving towards data science. Science is nothing but combinations of math, programming, tooling, algorithms, and some other practices. So whenever we say science, it's include all things. So programming is the key when you are going for science aspect and you are learning that. So that's a data analytics. But now what's the difference of machine learning? So machine learning is you are giving program, but at the same time, program is continuously running. And that program has two type of data. One data initially you use, which we call training data. Training data. You give a training data, program which you write in Python or R, which sometimes we call algorithm. That program will take the data. Once it takes data, the program will now have some kind of model that if this is follow, I'll do yes. If this is follow like this, I'll say no. So program create this type of model, but initially program use the data, which is called training data. Once training data works properly with the algorithm, then it generates model. This model is also called training model. Once you have model, then you will start sending real data. So once you start sending real data will try to go through the algorithm, and algorithm will use the model and try to generate the output. Sometimes we call forecasting, sometimes we call predictions like that. Sometimes we call recommendations, forecasting, recommendations, predictions, and here no human involvement. And everything is autopilot. And machine is learning, machine is making decisions. When machine make more wrong decisions, machine automatically adapt because this training data which machine have used initially we call T0. T0 means initial time frame. And then it creates this training model. It is possible the machine might be old, machine is wear and tear. And what happened now? New data comes, machine started making wrong decisions. At that time, you need to do recalibration. Recalibration means now you have to use new data. You have to use new data and you have to again create a model. And this is called recalibrations, require reconfigurations, and then machine will again make a right decisions. So this is where machine makes more decision we call machine learning. But machine learning also include programming, and it also include math, statistics, and other kind of behavior also. So math and statistics is also very positive part in machine learning. Any questions so far? So far so good? Awesome. Then last class we started using R programming, and for R programming we actually use RStudio. So when you use RStudio, what we did, we search here in our, you can also start in case if you have not started yet, you can just search RStudio and you start the RStudio. So when you click on the RStudio, it takes maybe a minute or two and you will see window like that. Let me know if you are able to see something like that. Give me thumbs up, so at least I know that you are able to see this thing. Very good. Awesome. Awesome. So most of you are able to see that. That's really good. Deepika, any question?
No,
Okay,
Tushar, I'm good.
perfect. Awesome. Awesome. So now we came here all the way. Now, if you have seen my video, I said like anytime you write a command, let's example, we talk about last class. If you talk about, there are two flavor we talk about. One is the variable, and second we talk about vector, right? Vector is a very important for your success, because you will only talk, if you're going to this industry, you will only talk in two languages, vector and data frame. We are going to touch more today, and I'm sure you will feel confident. Today's class is more hands-on, so you need to use computer in order to do so. Last class I was giving more concept, but now we will do more hands-on. Those who have programming background, they use variable more often. So example, if I say C equals to A plus B, where we define A, B, and C as a variable. And if I say A equal to 3, means A hold 3, and B equals to 5 means B holds 5. But at single point of time, variable can only hold one value. In vector, when I say A, I'm talking about bunch of value, bunch of value. Bunch of value, just like in Excel, we call column. So you're giving value, bunch of value. You never work with R with one value. You always work with the bunch of value. This value can be 100 or it can be 1000. If I say B, that can be also vector. And when you are doing vector to vector comparison, addition, subtractions, quickly you can do in R. So R is considered, R was the first programming language which was vector based. Vector-based programming language, R was very successful. It was the first and people started using it. It is very fast. Why? Because it does vector-based calculations. And anytime when it does vector-based calculations, you do not need to have programming knowledge like loop, high programming knowledge like loop and structures and all. Everything in R is few commands and you will get the desired result. So tonight, I'm sure you will appreciate R power because we're going to go in detail. However, before we start, let's little bit warm up, so at least we will understand. So why don't you all come to RStudio and let's write a couple of simple example so we can warm up, and what we covered last week, we can review it again. So let's say I want to create a one vector, just an example. Let's say salary vector. So salary equal to C. C is the create vector, and in parenthesis you can write the value. So like example 100,000, 150,000, 20,000, 200,000, 50,000. Just give any value. You don't have to copy what I entered. Just enter any value. Just enter any value of your choice. And order doesn't matter. Just enter few values. Trust me, value doesn't need to be exactly value which I entered. Just enter few values. So you can see here, I'm creating a vector called salary. C stands for create a vector. And these are value which are comma separated. All those things will be a part of one vector. So if I do that, I'm giving this value to vector salary. Make sure you understand C is the lowercase, it is for create a vector, and you can have as many value you want. You don't have to have exact value. If you give this value, make sure you complete that to parentheses. Please understand, vector, more value you have, better you can learn, but you don't have to have exact value, which I have. So once I do that, I have a vector called salary. Now, my manager is asking, hey, we have all salary. Can you calculate the bonus? Now, there are many ways you can do that. So we ask question, okay, what is the bonus? So you can say, whatever the salary you have, let's come up with the algorithm. An algorithm is like that. So algorithm is like, if you are making less than 100,000, your bonus will be 10%. And if you are making between 100,000 to 200,000, your bonus will be 20%. And anyone is making more than 200,000, anyone is making more than 200,000, your bonus will be 30%. Now, this kind of thing somebody is asking. So can you help me? How should I do that? Those who have done homework, you may have some clue how to do so. So how do I do this? Yes, please. It's okay to speak up. You're 22. You can easily to participate. It's okay to be wrong. Hello, hello. What should we do? Don't solve the problem and then answer. Think and answer. We will solve this, but we need together.
Can I try?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, so sum in the bracket C.
No, I'm not looking for command. I'm looking for approach. I'm looking for approach. What would be the approach? How would we do that?
It will be if condition, if salary is greater than 100,000.
Okay, so
then
first
this,
yeah,
or else, yeah.
Okay, so forum, I think it's a forum, right?
Yeah.
So forum, that's called programming approach. We normally we don't do programming approach. So this is the vector approach we need to do. So you are right, but that's a programming approach. If we do that, you need a more complex programming. Without programming, we need to do with few commands.
Can
right?
we
You're
multiply
right.
it by?
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
we multiply the vector C by like 1.1,
If I do
1.2?
that, it will apply to everyone. You don't want to do that.
Only okay.
How about use filters?
Absolutely. You are talking now, my friend Van. See, I want you to think that way. The reason forum is absolutely right. If else, right? Hitesh is also right. Hey, I can do that. But if you do that, you will do more damage. Let me repeat. You will do more damage. Why? Because first you need to have a complex program. And the more complex program you write, the data will flow here. Everything will slow down. And you need to process this lightning fast. You have to process this data in lightning fast. The more programming you use, more command you write, things will become slow. Whatever Hitesh mentioned, if I apply, it apply to everywhere, which may not be the right, because here we have three conditions. You can see that, right? These are the three conditions. Condition 1, right? Condition 2, and condition 3. So just like forum mentioned if else and when mentioned filter. So it's very, very important. You should know how to use vector, and from vector, how to come up with the subset. What do you need to come back? Subset. So there are two words we use, subset or filter. Subset means I need to find out how many values are less than 100,000. That's my first subset, which is called cluster 1. The second cluster is 100 to 200. What is my cluster 2? And third is my 200 to 200 plus, which is cluster 3. So first I need to create 3 cluster. Do you guys agree? Once I create a cluster, Hitesh is absolutely right. I can apply this cluster, maybe 1.1. I can apply this cluster, maybe 1.2. I can apply this cluster, maybe 1.3. Some of you say, why 1.3? Because it's a 30% bonus you are giving. 1 means as is. And if you 1.3 means you are talking about 100. If it is 100% means 1. But if you're saying 30% more, so you're giving 30 more. So total you're giving 130 divided by 100, which is by 100 because it's a percentage. Anything is percentage divide. So ultimately you are making 1.3. So if I do 1.3, then I'm going to get that value. So I need to create cluster. So now the $1 million question, how do I create cluster? How do I create a cluster from available vector? Now we need to write a command. I think someone was trying to explain the command. So please help me here. What would be the command I should write?
We can write sum.
No, you cannot write sum. If you use sum, you are going to have a problem. Why? Because first you have to create a cluster. Please understand the approach. You have to create a cluster. If you use sum, you lose your data, right? So you cannot do the sum. You have to take the value. You have to cherry pick the value, whichever less than 100. You have to pick this value and bring in cluster. You can't use sum right now.
Oh, I'm thinking like in homework, we can write sum in brackets,
Just
salary greater than.
remove sum. Just remove
Oh,
sum. You are
okay.
absolutely right. But as soon as you use sum, you're going to do total. You don't want total right now. So remove sum for now. You are doing absolutely right. Just like a homework. Just like a homework with a filter. Make sense? So I'm going to show you, okay? This is the way I teach, but I need your help, guys. If you don't do homework, then this class will not give you much benefit, trust me. But if you do homework, write my words, you will see the magic, and magic will be your paycheck. Your paycheck will have magic. I can tell my paycheck, man. Many of my friends say, man, what are you doing? I'm doing nothing, to be honest with you. But my paycheck has a lot of, like a, lot of numbers, and that lot of numbers you can get if you do homework. If you want to do really get the benefit, make sure you understand, because these are data-driven logic. It is designed for business people. In few minutes, you will understand. So I want to break it down till you understand. So let's start. So right now I have this vector. So if I print salary, I will see entire vector. But I want to create a first cluster. Until I create a first cluster, I'm not going to go forward. So what is my cluster? Anyone who is making less than 100,000. Okay. So I'll say cluster one, C1, cluster one. And then I'll say equal, I'll say salary. So that's my vector. And in salary, I use rectangle bracket. And I say salary, if it is less than 100,000, create one vector, which is C1. And if I press C1, if I press C1, you can see I got my first vector. Why don't you try that? So you can try it out. I use this vector, which I have here. This is total vector. And I said from this total vector, I need a filter. When was perfectly right. This filter, if this condition is true, then that will be cluster one. So you can see, yes, please.
So I don't have the same numbers, but can I
That's fine. Yeah, you're fine. See, your learning approach, as long as your approach is fine, it's fine. If you want same vector, I can give you one thing. I can copy this. It might be easier. Life is simple, right? So give me 1 second. I'll give you in a chat room so you can use it if you want. That way we all can be on the same page. I added in the chat room. Just copy paste and you can have same vector. Please remember, this is your original vector. If you're spelling different, you have to use that. And then rectangle bracket, it says that I'm going to write a condition. So this condition says salary is less than 100. It means it will go through entire vector data and it will pick all the value which is less than 100. And then it will assign to new vector. So this is the new vector now. So C1 is now new vector. So you have two vectors. Salary is the original vector and C1 is the first cluster. Okay. Now, how do I get the second vector, 100 to 200? What should we do?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So why we trying to find out C at the same time?
No, this was typo. My typo.
Okay.
I was supposed to type C1.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? So what would be the condition for C2 vector where I want to have value between 100 to 200?
So C2 equal to salary in the
Very
bracket.
nice. Very
Salary
nice.
is greater than equal to
Mhm.
100
Yes.
and
Mhm.
so M%, yeah.
Mhm.
Salary is less than equal to 200.
Very good. You seems like doing very well, right? So you can see here, anybody can understand. This is the business, right? It's very simple. Salary is greater than 100 and this is nothing but and. So you are drawing out 2 points, 100 and then you're drawing 200. If anything between here, I use equal sign also. So this is also included. This is also included. So you can see after doing that, I created another vector, which is C2. And you can see all the data which falls in that range. I got it. Try it out. Very good. Now, if you are getting that data, now you want to create a third vector. So what is the third vector? C3. Now you can be easy. Salary is greater than 200. So in that case, salary is greater than 200. It means you will have a C3 vector. And here you have C3 vector. Relax and enjoy. Please try correctly. It's a case sensitive, so be careful when you type. It has to be proper. Rectangle means rectangle. Space doesn't matter. This variable, there is no space. This variable, there is no space, as C3. So I created vector cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3. So now these vectors are separate. This is very nice. It's a condition 1 and then condition 2. If this both condition is true, it means and. Because and means both condition is true, then you give this vector. Here only one condition. If this is true, get me the vector. Now
A quick
I have
question.
3 vectors. Yes, sir.
The spacing is important.
No.
Okay.
I do space because it's easy to read. I
Yeah.
have a habit to just make it readable because many times, people see from the screen, sometimes it's hard. So I just do space. I press enter. You see mine, I might keep pressing enter. You don't have to, but the reason I do, it's more readable.
Okay.
Hey, Tushar, we have to type always in small letters or capital letters. Looks like doesn't work.
Yeah, lowercase, because this is very case sensitive. It works, but you have to be consistent. So it's always
No, it's not working for me either. Is the same, I mean, the smaller case, still it's not working. It's not showing any result. Not for C1, C2.
No. It means you don't have this vector created.
So I
So,
just created this one, whatever you gave in the chat room.
So first of all, if you have done that, type this thing. Are you getting value?
Yes,
Okay.
I got that one.
Then make sure you type this thing correctly. And then you try to print C1 and see what are you getting. Always what you do is every step you have to print it. This is called debugging. Every step you print. So that way you debug. If there is a problem, you will know right away which line has a problem, right? So if this line has a problem, then this salary will not show up. If this line has a problem, the C1 will not show up. If C1 is working, then you try this one. Make sure.
Oh, yeah. For C1, but total count number 5 for C1, that cluster, it says 5. I am not getting that, but when I do C1, I'm getting the 20, 50, 20,
That
40.
is fine. That is correct. That is correct. This was my mistake. Okay. This is correct. It means you're doing good. Now try this thing. Try this one.
So idea here is first we are assigning values to the vector and we are retrieving it.
Yes. So my plan is I'm kind of slowly going this way. I'm going to take you this way. Okay. So first what I'm doing is I'm teaching you how to take static vector. So this is called static vector, right? And then you now know how to create a cluster. So cluster means you divided this data into segmentation. So you create a cluster. So you are now understanding what is cluster means, right? Otherwise, theoretical cluster means nothing. Cluster can be anything. Like example, reach cluster can be poor, cluster can be average, cluster means class A, class B, class B, anything. Cluster can be any cluster you can create. This condition will change, but you know the concept now. Now, after static, what I'm going to do later on, I will read from file. I'm going to read from file. But when I read from file, it will come just like that, but rather than this data, it will come from file. But process will be still same, yes or no? And
Okay.
if I put together all those things in a script, right? Then that's called program, which they call R script. And if I automate this, it's called algorithm.
Yeah.
It means any data comes in, it will automatically spit out cluster. Here, I'm going to give a cluster certain percentage increase, but you can say you're approved, you're declined, you need a further evidence. So think about mortgage, it's the same thing. Mortgage people get the data, and based on the mortgage loan, it will do certain operation. Here we're going to do multiplication, but I can do certain operations. I can check. Are you working? Are you this? Check. If yes, then I can say this cluster approved. It means if you fall in this cluster, you might default approve. If you are following this cluster, you will have mortgage up to this. You know, right now, some people have to pay mortgage 7%. Right now, some people are paying 6.8. I pay 2.0.
Yeah.
And you say, why? That's the same cluster, because these are 4 things they check, right? Minimum. There are many things they check. Just an example. So based on the data, which is this cluster is nothing but mortgage loan or candidates who are looking for the loan, right? Yes or no? Using loan, they will create a cluster. Is loan is 100,000, is loan is less than 500,000, is loan is jumbo, they call jumbo. Anything is about 800,000, they call jumbo. So if you're in 800,000 jumbo, now there are a lot of questions will happen. And based on that, if yes, this is good, then they might give you lower interest, or they will give you higher interest, or they will give you how they calculate this same mirror concept. Program may be a little bit more condition, but technically, if I see the program, it may be not more than 50 lines. And lifetime they use this program. And that is called mortgage analytics. They call mortgage analytics. But technically, it is a program, has a little bit logic in that. Not a huge program. It's not a thousands of lines, only to maximum 50 to 100 lines of programs. Right? You will do it. I guarantee that you will do it. So far, so good?
Yeah, a quick question. When do you use this square bracket?
Square bracket, whenever you are doing subset. So whenever you are doing subset, you are giving a condition, you're using square bracket. So this is nothing but it's a list. So you're saying salary is a list, but I want only the data which follow in this condition. So anytime you do this thing, it's a list.
Okay.
It's a list. Anytime you do this, it's called function. So parenthesis is called functions. Anytime you do this rectangle bracket, it's a list. Okay.
But the list is 1 based, not 0 based, correct?
For this one?
For vectors.
Yeah.
It's 1 based.
Yeah, some language has 0, some language has 1. We will check it out. I'll show you. I just started. I'll show you many examples. So people will be clear. My goal here is today, you guys will be experienced with vector and data frame. I want to make sure you are comfortable with that. You're right, Dan. I'll show you. Any other questions so far? Good. Okay, so now let's say I want to print example C1. So I can print C2 and I have C3. Now I want to do process. I want to give this guy 10% bonus. So what I can do is I can say C1, right? Bonus. I can give any name I want. So C1 underscore bonus or anything. I can say C1A or I can say C1A, C1 dash, whatever naming you like. So I'll say C1 bonus. Now I know that C1 times 1.1. So if I do that, I will have now new vector C1 bonus. And you can see that it is automatically has 1.1 multiplied. So what we did is we use this vector. Then we multiply by 1, and we created this vector. So this vector is now I'm paying. This is the salary I'm paying. Bonus, sorry, I'm paying. This is I'm paying that. If I made a mistake, I can override that bonus. Example, I say, no, I need to give only 10%. This is total salary. I just want bonus. I made a mistake. So use up arrow, and say, no. I supposed to do 0.10. That's the bonus. If I do 1, it's a salary. If I do 1.1, it's a salary plus bonus. So if I say 0.10, which is the bonus, because 10% bonus, right? I can override that. And if I run again, C1 bonus, I can get. So it means this guy, for C1 guy, this guy is going to get this much bonus. This guy is going to get this much bonus. Makes sense or no? So you can do that. Now, if you say, okay, I got that part. How do I C2? Same concept. So help me. What should I write? C2 bonus equals to, should I write C1 or C2?
C2.
C2. And then I'll say 0.2, right? And I can print C2 bonus. And then same apply C3 bonus. Oops, sorry, my mistake. 0.3. Like that. Sorry for that. And C3 bonus. So I can see my bonuses here, C1 bonus, C2 bonus, and C3 bonus. Let me know if you're able to do. If you have a question, please ask. Good. Now let's start again one more time. So we started with the salary. Please understand. So salary was like this. We had a lot of data in that. Now we have cluster. Please try to understand. This is a mental blocks. You have to use slowly mental block, how we are doing. So from there, we created 3 cluster. Now from that, we converted a bonus, which is this one. So we got a bonus. Each sector, we have bonus 1, bonus 2, bonus 3. Now I want to combine this and create a bonus vector. Means this is the salary vector, which we have. And I want to use this one and this one and this one and create a bonus vector. So now I will have 2 vectors. Please understand, visualize this. You have salary, and I want to, salary has all the details we started with. Now we calculated that, but I do not have a vector. I have a separate 3 vector. I want to have now 1 vector, which is called bonus, which can map properly like that, right? I need to map that. So what should we do? How we can do that? So you can create 1 vector from other vectors. So right now you can see this C1, I multiply and I create a new vector. Then I use C2, multiply, new vector, and C3. But the problem is when I filter the data, please understand, when they filtered the data was different places. And from there I filter like this. So if I create a bonus like this, do you think it will match properly with the salary? What do you guys think? Will it match or will it not match?
Will not.
Sorry?
Will not match.
It will not match. You're absolutely right. First, let me create a bonus vector. In few minutes, you will understand. So I'm going to create a bonus vector, bonus equal to C, which is the vector. Inside, I'll say C1 bonus, comma C2 bonus, comma C3 bonus. Now I have bonus vector. It means I use, please understand, very nice, right? I use this vector, I use this vector, I use this vector, and I created a new vector. This is the bonus vector. But my salary vector, please understand, my salary vector has a random value. Here I have value, which is the vector 1, which is the less than 100,000. Then I had a less than 200,000, then less than this thing. So how do I map this vector, which is the salary vector, with the bonus with respect to bonus? What should I do? So it kind of come mapping. What should I do? Any suggestion?
You order the salary.
Very good. Then you're good. So now we need to order the salary. So you can go to forum. This forum has a lot of goodies, and I'm continuously cherry picking a lot of goodies for you. So if I do Control F, just Control F, and I'll say order. So if I go to order, things sort. We do sort. Oops, there is the. Okay, it's maybe in the screenshots, maybe. So if I do sort, let me just show you here. So every vector has an operation to perform. So you can see sort. Do you see here? Sort. Sort the vector. You can also set decrease or increase. So right now, let me do sort. So I'm back here. And if I say sort salary, why salary? Let me explain first before I sort it so you will understand. So if I say salary, this vector, the data is in a random order. You can see 20 is here, 50 is here, like 20 is here. The order is not there. So if I say sort salary, it will be now in order. Now it will be in order. So this is pretty good actually. You can see lowest value here, highest value here. So if I sort this one, then it will match. What do you guys think? Let's try it. So if I say sort, bonus, and bingo, we did it. 1, 2, 2, 20, right? It's matching properly. You guys agree or not? Right? So this is where whatever you just did it, if I combine this step, this is a simple step, but these simple steps create your script. And if this is used for automation data, then people call algorithm also. Some people call automation, some people call algorithm, some people call program, but you start step by step. Now everything is matching. I am doing sorting, I'm displaying it, but I have to preserve that in a vector. So here, if I just run this thing, it will just display the value in a sorting order, but it doesn't do the sort, it is displaying. Same apply here, it's just displaying. So now I'm going to create a vector, check it out, SAL, salary, underscore, sort, that's a vector. And I can say sort salary. Now I store into vector. Please understand. I say sort salary, store into SAL underscore sort. So I store this value. So it means whatever the value you have, I stored in this vector. Now same apply here, bonus. So I'll say bonus underscore sort equal to sort bonus. So now I have both vector. So far so good. I have this vector and I have this vector. Now both are in proper sorted. And if you notice this on your environment variable, you will see those sorted vector here. So you can see bonus sort is there, values are here. And if you go to salary sort, the values are here. Now I want to combine these two vector parallel. I want to combine these two vector parallel. So I can see like this. This is one vector I can see, and I want to see another vector like this. Any suggestion? What should I do? So it look like a properly, I can show the vector parallel. What should I do? Any suggestion? These vectors are independent. Yes.
Would we create a data frame at this point?
Absolutely. You're right. You're thinking correctly. And that's what I was explaining last week. Man, you're awesome. If you are doing vector independently, that's a vector. But if you are now having multiple vector, and if you combine together, that becomes a data frame. So I'm going to create a data frame, and this is your first data frame. Why would you create data frame? You trust me, if you are going in a data analytics or analysis world, be comfortable with this word data frame and vector, because you will be surprised in a day, you will be talking this thousands of times. Just like Excel, we call worksheet. In a data analysis world, we call data frame. So now we are going to create this as a data frame. And when we create data frame, we have two choices. We can name this data frame as a heading and bring this value. So now we will look like as Excel file with the two columns. We have two columns here, salary sort, bonus sort. So how do we create data frame? And that's what we're gonna do it. So far, any questions? Everyone understand what we are doing? Or is it something like certain command you are making confused or something? Feel free and ask questions. Because the way I'm covering is kind of makes sense. Otherwise, it will look like just like a theory and lab. We want to learn something which we can, it makes sense to us, right? So I'm trying to combine that. So now, few things. Yes.
Quick. In R Studio, where we are entering this commands, what is the name of that?
This is called
console.
Console. Yep.
What is the name of the
this one?
Right.
This one?
I'm not able to see that.
Environment.
Oh, environment.
Environment variables.
Okay. Can you show me that you are the environment variables one?
If you are not able to see, you can go to view, right? And you can say show environment variable.
Okay.
Happy?
Yeah. Thing is, for you on your screen, you have XYZ, but I have only XY. That's why.
Don't compare that, please. Don't compare, because I practice before I teach, right? So I have, and I teach this class for many years. So there are so many things I might have. Don't compare, right? Remember one thing, I always tell people, and you are coming from India, right? So I'll tell you the story, which you should remember. You only see the bird eyes, okay? Nothing else. Don't look tree, don't look environment, don't look outside. Whatever I teach, focus on that only. Because if you see why this wall is like that, it's unnecessary, right? So don't worry about other part. At this moment, any question with this command, any command which we cover, what we are doing, any question here, please ask.
Okay.
Make sense? Because it's very important that we focus on a context model. Okay. Now we are doing data frame. Everyone should understand from separate vector, we are creating data frame. Now the question is how data frame works. So let me go back to our forum. Just want to give you a little bit reference. So when you read, when you do homework, you always do Control F and data frame, and then you will get an idea. So this is very important. Please understand. Life will change. Trust me. If somebody say I'm expert in R programming, they are only talking about this too. And this will take hardly 10 minutes to understand. And then top of that, it's all packages, which I will cover next week. Package is only like this thing, data frame or matrix or vector. Matrix I'll cover a little bit later. But right now, let's focus on vector. I want you to pay attention, okay? Because it takes 10 to 15 minutes max. And that's all people need to know if you are going for R programming. Because if you are good in data frame, you can do anything. If you're not good in our data frame, then a small thing will confuse. I'll do my best. I have a lot of material here which will help you, but I need full attention. If you're doing texting, multitasking, it will not help. So make sure you pay attention. Okay. I'll ask question and voluntarily participate. It's not like I know means I'm not answering. If you answer, it's okay to be wrong. But if you are understanding, then lifetime this remain with us. I had a little initially trouble because no one explained me that. So I was always wondering, but once I understand, life is easy. So first of all, anytime you talk about vector is also a one column. So whenever we say vector is one column, in one column, please understand column means like this. So column is one, but rows are more. So we need to understand that part, rows and columns. Now this is very foundation part. Anyone who has studied anything grade 2 or grade 3 math, they know rows and column. Why? Because many of you have studied like determinants, matrix, right? I'm sure you have studied. I'm sure you might have forgot, but those are important things you study. Row 1, row 2, where you have seen like value like that, right? In case if you do not know, right now, if you are getting Walmart receipts, in Walmart receipt, you will have rows, right? Or you get an invoice, you will have rows. Or if you are looking for a monthly bank statement, you have rows. So rows are always horizontal, this way row. And columns are always vertical, right? So columns are always vertical. So whenever we say vector, we always talk about one column, but row can be many. But when we talk about data frame, now we have many columns, column 1, column 2, column 3, and you can have many columns. And at the same time, you have many rows. So data frame is nothing but Excel file in easy language, if you do the math. So far, so good. Any questions so far? Vector means one column, and data frame means multiple column. Can I count? Everyone is clear? Another thing. In data frame, in column, normally you pick one type of data, one type of data, one type of data. So one type of data means, like example, if I'm storing age, then definitely it will be number. If I'm storing friends, then definitely spelling. If I storing, let's say, birth date, then definitely there will be a date. So if vector has one type of data, then same vector will maintain the data type. But each vector can have different type of data. You can have birth date, you can have spelling, you can have number, you can have other thing, you can have decimal value. Each vector can have different data type. Now you say, I'm not understanding what is data type means. So think about your monthly statement. You will have ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have date, which date you made a transaction. So that's the date type. Then transaction type, credit card, debit card, cash, online, in person, how much money. So each column has a different type of value. It can be numeric value, it can be spelling, it can be date, it can be other thing. So you can combine that. Sometimes you do it, sometimes somebody give you. So example, if I give you Excel file, if I give you Excel file and I say, hey, go and do analysis, we will do that. So we have many Excel file, I'll give you. So when I give you Excel file, am I giving vector? Am I giving data frame? Or am I giving both? What am I giving? If I give you CSV file or Excel, what am I giving you?
Data frame
And vector?
Both.
So good question, right? So first of all, when I give you data file, it's just a data. But then I have to use R to read this data file and convert to data frame. So R by default take data, any data you give, PDF file, Excel file, CSV file, or JSON file, any file is a raw data you give. R, when R reads, R will immediately convert into data frame. And from there, analysis starts. If you do not have a data frame, nothing will happen. People say, but can I convert to the vector? Only you can convert to vector if your data file has only one column, which is not going to happen. Most of the time data will have multiple columns. So rather than you try to convert to vector, R by default convert all data file to data frame. Make sense? Why? Because your data has many details. Like example, you have first name, last name, email, phone number. So when I read it, I have multiple columns. Multiple column means data frame. So R automatically convert to data frame. So far, so good. Now R provides a lot of goodies. If you have CSV file, there is a goodie for that. If you have tabular data, tabular means tab delimited, then there is a GUI for that. If your Excel file, there is a GUI for that. If your PDF file, GUI for that. Just like Power BI has a GUIs data source. Here, your GUIs, which can read it in one line, it will convert. Just one line. So wherever you feel like you have to memorize it, I would say don't memorize, just try to understand. Because you don't have to memorize. You need to understand the concept. All data immediately converted as a data frame. So if you do not understand data frame, then after you convert, you will not know what to do. So we have to make sure we understand that part of the process. Good. Okay. I'm hoping you are good. Now let's assume I converted data frame. So there is a picture here. Relax and enjoy. So this is the picture. I got a data. I got the data. So here I'll say I have column 1. Let me say this is the column 1. This is the column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. So I have how many columns I have? 4 columns. So this is the column. Now these are my rows. So this is my rows. As Dan mentioned, rows start from 1. So if I have this data, so when you are giving any file, which is called data file, you give it to R converted into data frame. So whenever R converted to data frame, it is in memory. It is in memory. So these columns are created, but it's all in memory. So if it is a memory, you have to pull the data from the memory whenever you are analyzing. So example, if I say, I want to, please pay attention, it will take a little time, but it's very useful. If you say, I want to get this column, entire column, I want to get this column, but R say, wait a minute, I have data frame. What you need from the data frame? So you say, I want column. So R is a very interesting way to get you that. So first you have to start data frame, whatever the name of the data frame. Just like you have vector name, V1 or salary. Just like that, we create a data frame, which is called DF, just an example. And then you use rectangle block and you take comma. Please understand comma. Comma means all rows, but vector is 1. So if you do that, it will get you only 1 vector. Give me thumbs up if you're clearly understanding or ask question.
Can you repeat one more time, please?
Yeah, make sure everyone understand. Anytime when you read the data, when you converted, are converted into data frame. Let's say the data frame name is DF. Data frame name is DF. And from there, I want to get this column. Which column? Number is 1. But you want all row. So when you want all row, you just say comma. The first is the row. So you are saying all row because you did not define anything. It means all. And then you say 1. It means you got the first column. Let me change the question. What if I want third column? What should I write? DF.
DF, square bracket, comma 3.
Very good. So what is empty here? All rows. But let's say accidentally I put 1. Now what will happen?
It will in vector 3, it will give first row only.
No, it will go here, 1 row. You're right. It will go to 1 row, first row, and then it will go to third column. So in that case, it will only give me this value because row is 1, column is 3. So it will give me this value, which is only, this one will only give me true. Make sense? It always go to row first and then check which column. So it picked the 3. People on phone, give me thumbs up if you're clear. If not, ask question.
I understand, but what do you mean by it will give only true?
Ask yourself question. Is this the row 1? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Right? Now, is this the column 1? This is column 2 and column 3. So you say go to row 1, go to column 3. So this is what you're going to get. Because you are specifically saying, go to that row, go to that column, get me the value.
Okay.
Let me change this.
So it's like a cell, right? Isn't
It is a cell.
we
It is
can
Excel. It's
cell
just
one.
Excel. Let me change this thing. If I say 2, 2, 2, what am I going to get?
Pen.
Pen, right?
Pen.
Because you are going to 2 and this. Absolutely, it is a cell, just like an Excel. But because it's in memory, you have to get it. It is extremely simple, guys. Once you understand, if I have to write Java program, it will require me 7 to 8 weeks of training to get this data, because I have to do loop inside loop, and it is a multi-dimension loop. It's pretty complex in Java. Python, it is also complex, but here it's simple. So let's do one more time. What if I want to get third row? What should I do? I want to get entire this row. What should I write?
DF.
3, comma, and then nothing.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Pretty easy. Yes or no? Right? So if I want, let's say 2 column, let's say 1 and 2, what should I do? I need an entire column. What should I write?
So DF bracket 1, comma, no.
You're doing good. You say, first of all row. So just do
Yeah.
empty. And then you say 1, colon 2.
Yeah, colon.
Means you're saying 1 and 2. What if I want this 2 column? What should I write? What should I write?
Same thing. DF bracket space comma and 3 colon 2 and 4.
Very good. Now the challenge. What if I want to use this column and this column? Number 3. I want this column and this column. What should I do? What should I do?
We can put instead of colon end.
Sorry? It won't work that way. So remember one thing, vector and DataFrame. These are 2. If you understand R. So let's go back to vector. So in vector, we talked last week. I hope everyone is following me. Let me do this way. Salary equals to, let's say we do C, and then we get the value like this, 10, 100, 20, 30, 40, like that, right? If I want sequential, like this too, then I can say salary, right? In rectangle bracket, I'll say 1 colon 2 or 1 colon 4. It means it's going to get 1 to 4. But if I want this one, and if I want this one, but I don't want this, then I have to cherry pick. And whenever you want to cherry pick, you need to create a vector. So example, you can say salary in rectangle bracket, you can say C means vector. And you can say, I need a position 1 and position 3. And if you do so, it will get me this one and this one. Same concept. C, in that you see, and then you write rectangle bracket 1 and 3. So it will understand that I need a column 1 and 3, and you will get that. Makes sense. So let's say if I want 1 and 4, what should I do? Come on, what should I do?
C1, comma 4.
Very good. Now reverse. Let's say I want row 1 and row 4. What should I do?
DF bracket C, and then the parentheses 1 comma 4.
Very good. Very good.
And then
Comma. That's it.
and close
That's
the
it.
bracket.
Yeah. When you do comma and don't give value, it means you are expecting everything. Okay. But let's say I change the question. Listen carefully. I say I need row 1, row 2, but up to this much only. I need this row and this. Now what should I do? What would be the command?
You're going to do df square bracket c parentheses. Then you're going to have 1:2 close parentheses comma and
no. You cannot have 2 because I don't want second row.
You don't want the second row. You want the fourth row.
So up to this, you're right. It should be C14. Means you are selecting this row, this. But if I do this, then it will take everything. Now you have to also consider this 2 column. So after comma, now column, you can just say 1 column 2. You can say
1 colon 2.
Make sense or no?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes or no? Because this column and this column, both you get. You can also say C 1, 2. That's also fine. Because that's what either way you can write. Questions so far? It takes a little time, but it's not that hard. As I say, 15-20 minutes. If you pay attention, then trust me, R is the simplest language in the world because it is entire thing is data frame. Everything you are going to do data frame. Okay, so I'm going to now go back to our bonus part and create a data frame. So show you. In order for yes, please.
So what if I wanted row 1 and 4 from columns 1 and 4? Like, how would I?
Could you please repeat again?
What if I want row 1 and 4 from columns 1 and 4?
Okay, row 1 and 4 from column 1 and 4. Okay, so basically you want this one, this one, this one, and this one. Am I right? So
yes.
Let's start that. DF.
You need to create 2 vectors, right? One for row and one for column.
Yeah, let's see here. So right now, C has need to get this 2 item. So I know row is clear. C mentioned clearly. So I'll say C 1, 4. If I just do this, right? In that case, entire row will come. But she said, no, I don't want entire row. I need only column 1 and column 4. So I'll say C 1, 4. In that case, first what computer will do? Computer will say you ask 1 and 4. So computer will pointer here 1 and 4. So it will try to pointer entire row like that. Right? And this. But then you say, wait a minute, this is just for row. Now you are asking column. So computer say pointer. So like that and pointer like that. So you can see intersection is here. So I will get this value. Wherever intersection happen, I'll get the value. Other value, I'll not get it. Makes sense?
Question. At both the places you have C, is it correct?
Yeah, C is the vector. I have to create a vector because there is no other way. You cannot write, this is DF, right? You cannot write like a 1, 4, 1, 4. You cannot write. Data frame only takes 2 things, row and column. If row is 1, like if I write 1, 4 like that, then it will go to 1 and 4. It will pick up this item. But that's not the intention here. Here intention is go get this grab this value, grab this value, grab this value, grab this value. So if the values are coming from different row, you have to cherry pick. And whenever you cherry pick, you need to create a vector. So you can say C, you create C and then you say 1, 4. So that's a cherry picking. You are picking this row and this row, but it's still considered as a 1 row. And then you comma, and then you do column, and in column also you cherry pick. Makes sense? We're gonna do the lab tonight, so at least you get an idea. But the way I want to cover is you are clear. I don't want you to just do it. I want you to understand it, because if you don't understand, it defeats the purpose, right? Everything is the data frame. In R, there is nothing. All data in R is in memory. And from memory, if you want to get the data, the only way you can get data is through data frame. If you do not understand data frame, then you cannot get the data. It means you can't analyze it. Got it?
I have a question. So
Sure.
DF is a data frame, but is that just like a general thing for this
No,
example?
it is just example. It's just example.
Okay. So like if I have two different data frames and I want to pull data from both, I can specify like
Instead
they
of
would have
that, salary, data, I'll show you. You can use anything. We'll do in few minutes. Ready? Okay. So first I want to show you how I'm going to create. So I have vector, and this is the command we're going to use, and we'll create a data frame. So in our case, we do have a vector, two vectors. So we have two vectors. If you notice that we have vector salary sort and we have vector bonus sort. I want to combine this thing and I want to create another data frame. So I'm going to create a data frame. So to answer to your question, I use word data frame. If I use, let's example, employee salary, then that becomes a data frame like that. I normally use DF word for data frame because it's easy. So I can say employee, or you can say salary DF. That's the variable, that's your data frame. But more you write, typing is hard because you have to continuously type that. So it's a good idea to use simple but easy names. So I'm using data frame. And then I'll say, sorry.
So but salary and bonus are in one data frame. Like you're going to combine them to one data frame. But
Yes, I'm going to.
Data.
Sorry?
Can you use two different data frames? Because salary is still one, like going to one data frame, right? Or am I misreading this?
No. Let's try to understand what you're talking about. See, my mistake. Your vector. You're one vector here. And you're one vector too. And salary and bonus are linked. So salary and bonus are linked. So if I combine this together, then it will be one data frame. But you say, no, I don't want to combine, right? You have two choices. If you don't want to combine, another choice is you create a data frame for this vector, which is data frame 1. And then you create a data vector from here, data frame 2. But if you want to process together, then you have to use join. You have to use join. And through join, you get a result. Now, this is something we cover next week. But right now, you don't need that. Why? Because these are dependent. Bonus is dependent on salary. So if I create one data frame, my problem will solve. But in a real life, you're absolutely right. In real life, you will have one data frame for employee. You have one data frame for dependent. You will have one data frame for salary. You will have one data frame for benefits. Now, if you want to do that, you have to do joins, right? And that I'll cover next class. Just like database join you do, here joins are pretty easy. Everything in R is a business language. So if you can write English, if you can speak English, you can do it. And you don't have to know lots of commands. That's the way. But you can do one data frame or you can do multiple data frame. It's your approach. But because I'm teaching first time data frame, I'm going to show you how two vectors I can use and create a data frame. Okay. So here, please understand the command is you have to write a command. This can be any variable. You can any name you can use. The command is data.frame. Data.frame. That's a command. And inside frame, I'm going to give my vector name. So one vector is salary sort and comma bonus sort. So these are two vectors I have. So if I do that, I have now data frame, and you can see nicely data frame is ready. Pretty good. Now I can see matching. You can see I'm matching properly. Pretty good. Without data frame, I will not be able to match properly. That's the problem. DataFrame gives me now ability to do much more analysis. If I do vector, it is only one versus having multiple. So multiple always get a better. Just think about, you can create nice vector data frame like that, and you can do analysis. So right now, if you use data.frame and use your vector 1, vector 2, and then create a data frame, and if you have a data frame, and if you print data frame df, give me thumbs up. Okay. So far, whatever I'm teaching, I'm hoping you all are understanding. If anything you have doubt, please ask, because as we go further, if you ask certain questions after 2 weeks, it will be unnecessary confusion. It's okay to ask now. The reason I'm practically drawing and explaining, so you can visualize. Once you visualize, trust me, my own experience, I can tell you, I only had a 6 to 7 hours training with R, 6 to 7 hours training. And I started my first career, 6 to 7 hours of training, not like this way. If I wish I have this, the only thing somebody told me that, you know, vector and you know data frame, you will do everything. So they gave me a small project also to do so, right? And trust me, I had to do Googling, books and all. And still I was able to do it. It's not I was genius. It is simple. I need to understand the concept, what I'm trying to do. It's all step by step happens. And good news, if command doesn't work, you can try again, and you can figure it out. And there are lots of materials out there. So I have now data frame. If you all have a data frame, then we can move forward and we'll do some analysis.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
In R, there is no separate command like print, right?
Yeah, we do have command print.
But
if you directly write, R is so smart, it understands that you are doing print df. So if you write print, print and df, it will work exactly the same way. Or if you write just df, it will understand that you want print.
Oh, okay.
So both command works.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to avoid typing. But print is also the same command. You want to see that? I'll show you. You can do print df and it will work exactly the same way. And if you do df, I like df because it saves some time. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So please understand, I'm hoping you are doing along with me. Don't just think about, I'll do later, I'll watch recording and I'll do it. This is the data frame. This is the command. In command, I can add vector 1, vector 2. Can I add more vector? Yes. There is a beautiful part about this also. You can also name it. Name equal to vector. Name equal to vector 2. So let me show you. So you can use up arrow. You can use up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow till you get this command. So you use up arrow till you get this command. So you notice that this become a column name. And I don't like this column name. That's very bad name. I want salary. I want bonus. Can I change that? Yes, easily. Just use up arrow, bring this command. And then once the command is here, you just write here, check it out. Salary equals to and bonus equal to. Wow, I like that. And if you press enter, and if you do now df, you will see now I like that. It's more easy. So you change this now name. So you can say heading is now changed. This is just a heading. You're changing the name of the column. Pretty good. Name of the column. So you can see now data frame is now got there. Let me know if you're able to see the data frame with the heading properly. Awesome. Now I'm going to do analysis. Of course, we are learning. So practically, we already talk about data frame. So what is my data frame name here? DF is lucky. Do I need to change the data frame to something? I can change if I don't like DF, but right now I'm using, can I use data here? Yes. Can I use other? Yes. But right now my data frame name is DF. Most of the books, most of the material use word DF. So don't assume that you always have to write DF. You can write anything, okay? Anything, but here happen to have DF as a name. So now let's learn if we are able to. So if I said DF, And if I use rectangle block, and if I just say 1 and comma, press enter, I should expect first row. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, it works.
Yes.
It just works. Very good. DF. Wow. So first means first row, and I did not give a column, so it gave me entire row. So what if I need a first 5 row? What should I do? If I need first 5 row, what should I do?
DF 1:5 and comma.
Very good. You are doing great here. So there are multiple ways you can do. So 1:5 and ta-da! You're absolutely right. Seems like you remember the way. See, you get that? Pretty good. Now, what if I want first row, 8th row, and 14th row? What should I do?
DF C 1 4. You said 4, right? 8. Okay, 14. And then comma.
Very good. Trust me, this type of things people do ask during interview, and this is the hardest thing. But in my understanding, is easiest thing if you know what I explained. This is called cherry picking. So this is the hint. If you are cherry picking, always use vector and then data frame. Now, what is this 184? I'm hoping everyone is clear. First is the always row. First is the row. So you selected the row. It was not sequential. If it is sequential, you would have used this way. If it is sequential, but it was not sequential, so you use cherry pick. But you have not specified column, so it took all columns. That's it. Now, what if I want, listen carefully, if I want 1, 8, but I don't want this 2 column, second column, what should I do? I don't want all 3 rows. I just want first and 8 row. So I just want this answer now. If I'm interested only this answer, what should I do? You have to speak before you try. I know some of you are trying. You just speak up, so at least we know.
DF brackets 1:1.
So DF rectangle bracket, right? C18, because you need 1 8 and then comma 1, right? So you get that answer, right? So you can see 1 8. You got that. Okay. So far, any questions? Now, there is another way you can do is you can do head and you can do DF. Then by default, it gives you first 5 top rows by default. And if you do tail, right, tail DF, then it gives you last bottom 5 rows, which is kind of nice, right? So if you want any particular last rows, you can get this way or this way. Head also gives you that options. Now, if you feel like, hey, I don't understand what head offers, what command head offers. So R by default have a built-in help. So you can just do question mark and you write a command head and you press enter. So when you press enter, you will get the help here by default. So you can see here, I wrote a question mark, and I wrote a command. So you can get a lot of help here. So you can specify like n, so how many rows you want. So you can get, it is also different ways you can get the data. So you can see that it gives you tail and all, and there are a lot of example available here. So n while negative value exclude the last or first thing, dimensions also gives you. So there are a lot of things available which we can use it. So you can here k equal to 1 row, k equal to 2 means columns, k less than this. So you can see there give example also. So you can play around this thing. It's kind of nice thing. So we'll try a couple of just to see how it works. Okay. So right now, let's say I'm seeing the help here and I'm kind of curious. So let's example, I say head and I have data frame TF and let's say I say 1. So first row. And if I say 2 to 2 rows, very good. I control. And what about tail? So I'll say DF and let's say I want 4th row. From bottom 4 row. And let's say I want 3 row. Very good. And let's say I want first and 2. So I can do that. So here you got that. So if you want cherry pick, you can also do. Basically, the help is a pretty good here. You can play around. You can see that commands and you can see what's working, what's not working or not. So again, mostly people use head and tail to just see the first top or bottom rows. They want to see that. That's the reason people use head and tail. It comes from Linux environment. Any other questions so far?
So for head and tail, default is 6 rows?
5.
5,
I believe it's 5, if I'm not making mistake.
Let's try.
5. Let's try again.
No, it's showing 6.
No, it's like, let's count 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's a 6 row. Yep.
Okay.
In a Linux, it's a 5. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also give your own choice. Like example 4, then you will do 4. Good. Awesome. There is another thing about dimensions. So like example, if you write dim and you write data frame. So dim data frame. So dim stands for, it will tell you what is your dimensions are. So what is dimension means? So you have data frame like this. And please understand, when your data frame, how many rows you have? How many rows you have? That's your first number of rows. And then how many columns you have? How many columns you have? So here we have columns too. So this gives you dimensions, number of rows and number of columns. Clear? Sometimes it's important. Somebody asks how many rows you have, how many columns you have. It's important. You should know about it, right? It's easy this way. You can find out. If you do size and df, it's not working. If you do length, df, and you can see here, it is finding length as a column. So it is finding length as a column. But if you do dimension, it gives you row. So the question is, how do I get row? Individually row. If I want to get row only, how do I get it? Any suggestion?
Can we do width?
Sorry, my mistake.
Can we do width instead of length?
Okay, let's do width like that. No,
Yeah.
there is no hint. It didn't give me hint. So here it's, so that is not, I don't see that is the command here, right? So there is no, I'm typing. Do you guys see how I get the context sensitive help? I do control space. What I do? See, I type a little bit and I say control space, like control, like V and control space. So I can get the hint. And as I type, I can see that. So width, so that's not a command, but there is a one command called n row. So if you do n row, there is a command n row, number of row, and then you do df. So you get that n row. Make sure you remember that. It will be very useful. Why? Because somehow sometimes you're expecting customer should give you 16 rows, just an example. But if they give you 14 row, then you can reject that because the data is not complete. So this way you can count how many rows you have. If they give you, if the data frame has 0 row, what does it mean? What does it mean? Data frame has 0 row. What does it mean?
There is no data.
No data, right? So these kind of things can be used for your validation purpose. You can use that, right? All those things which I'm teaching right now, it's all in our forum. But the way I teach is kind of, look practical versus I go through command. It will be a little difficult if I just show the command, you do the command and all. So just this is the way you can do that. So far, so good. Now, and another thing I like about data frame is, listen carefully. You have two ways to get this column. Please pay attention. If you want to get this column, you can say data frame Then you say rectangle block, and you can specify the what do you call column. So you can say, I need all row and first column, and you get that this column. So check it out like this data frame. I need all row and first column. Boom, I get that. So you get entire detail, entire thing. And if you want bonus column, you can just say data frame. I need all row, comma, second column. I get that. But there is another way you can do, which is much more popular way people like. Listen carefully. You may like this one better because it's more readable. This one is only you will know because you know now what is this one means. One means column and two means second column. You know because you know the explanation part. But if you do not know, then there is a way, English way you can do. So first thing is entire thing is a data frame. So that's a DF, that's the English. Now our R says that you say dollar, it means separator. Dollar means separator. And then you give a column name, so salary. So if I say that, then data frame will understand you want this column only. If I say DF, which is the data frame, dollar bonus, then it will understand that you are interested in this only. Let's do it. So if I say DF, dollar, it gives me column available. So as a salary, it only get you salary. It's more readable. Dollar is a separator. So easy. Did it work for you? Right? I like this thing because I mostly use this because in the future, I will have a hard time to remember what is 1 and 2. But this one is a column specific, so it's more readable. And if sometime people change the column order, this command will work. This will not work because the order you hard coded. So name sometimes easier. And when you write a program, try to write program in English because your customers will be not knowing programming. They may not know all technical detail. Try to write in English. Why? Because your business customer can modify if they want to. The script has to be simple. Okay. Now, something interesting. Now, if I want to analyze, please understand, I know how to get this column. I know how to get this column. But what if, listen carefully, what if I have data frame? From data frame, I don't know, but I have a conditions. I want to bring data where bonus is greater than 50, where bonus is greater than 50. So I want to bring data where bonus is greater than 50. So I have two choices. I can work with this column, but if I work on this column, I'm going to get this thing. But I also want to get respective this thing. So if I want respective this thing, I have to use somehow data frame. Because if I work, please understand, if I work with only bonus, I can get only this data. But here they give us conditions. So I do need to use conditions. I do need to use condition with this column, which is the bonus. So example, if I use DF, this is data frame, dollar bonus greater than 50. So I need that condition, but that conditions I need to apply to data frame. If I apply to data frame, then I get rows associated with that, Otherwise I'll not get it. So this type of things, how to work. Let me show you in our forum. So I have some examples so you get idea. So I'll show you. Just a second, I put it here. DF. Okay, here you go. So all those examples are here, which we talk about. I want to show you something. The filtering. Maybe here. Yes, here. So in this example, please pay attention. I have I have name, math, science, and English. So I have all columns. Now, if I want, please understand, read data frame based on column condition. So here I said, get me row. When I say df means get me row. If this condition is true, it means it will go to this column. If this column is right, if the condition is right, then it will get me all the rows. So let's do it here. So in our case, I want to get all rows when the bonus is greater than 50. So I want this data. I want all row when the bonus is greater than 50. So the first thing, data frame. The second thing, column, rectangle. Then conditions. What is the condition? df $bonus and greater than 50. And then just do comma. If you don't do comma, then you will have a problem. So you can see here. But if I don't do comma, it will give you error. And sometimes you will be confused why it's error. Make sure you do comma. So that gives you all rows. Okay. So how do you read this thing? So you're reading, say, hey, you have data frame. I'm interested in all row. Given this condition is satisfied. And for give me all column also. So you're getting all columns also. So not only rows, but you're getting all columns. What if I don't want bonus column? It means I'm only interested in one column. In that case, if I do up arrow, and if I do one only, then I can say for bonus, where the bonus is greater than 50, I want first column, which is nothing but salary. Okay. You are using master data frame, because master data frame through you can stitch together. You can use this condition and then you can extract these rows, which is the beautiful part. So example, when you do the project or other lab, let's example your data. And now there is a concept called column called city, just an example, city. And here your name. And let's say here your position, just an example. And here you have, let's say, title, position, title, whatever you have. Now let's say somebody say, show me all the people who are living in Detroit. Then you have city. And you're going to get all the people who are living in Detroit. So you know this column detail, but you're still going to get entire thing as long as your data frame. And that's the power of this data frame here. If I put here df bonus, then I'll only get a bonus. But here you want entire row, but condition you're applying on particular column. So that's the reason you can do that. Questions? Any questions?
Tushar, why is that $sign? Why not just DF bonus? Can you say that again? Explain that again.
It's a separator. It means from data frame, this is the bonus, is the column. So this is the separator. So this is the data frame. Inside this is the column. So separator, they use $. Yes. Any other questions?
I have a question. So in this one, if I only want, let's say first two rows. So in the result, I want 230 and 600, and I don't want 1000. Will I put another comma and 2 next to the 1?
Very interesting. So let's do it. That will, we have to play around. Okay. And you're asking wonderful question. So answer is, I'll show you different way. So check it out. First of all, let's do one more time. If you want to clear the screen, what do you do? Control L. So I'm going to do DF. So this is visible. Control L, clear the screen. So forum is asking question. So I'll use up arrow. And she said, like, let's get all. So I got all. Now she said, you know what? These conditions get me 3 rows, but she's only interested in first 2 rows. So as soon as she says first 2 rows, my antenna says, what are the ways I can do? There are many ways you can do. Okay. So I say, why first 2 rows? So why don't I use this thing and map into top, tail? Sorry, in our case, head, right? And then I can give a 2 and I can say, ta-da! right? Because head is only going to give me the rows I'm interested in. So this guy is going to give me 3, but then head says, no, I don't need 3, I need 2. And that is what forum is interested in. So here head command is very useful here. So because different ways you can get the result. Make sense? Same thing if she said, can I get the last? So then same thing, you can use up arrow and change to tail and you can get. So you are going to get from bottom. Any other questions, concerns, doubt? Good. So let me just go back to the forum for a few minutes and then we'll take a break. Please understand this exercise we're going to do after break quickly, but I just want to make sure forum is, honestly speaking, I shouldn't say excellent, but I am putting a lot of effort. In case if you are seeing this is continuously evolving. So make sure you use this thing because it is going to make life easy. So what we started doing here, we started vector is always one column and data frame is multiple column. So if you have vector created like this, you can combine that and create a data frame. Data frame is just a name here. You can write anything. You can also create data frame with the column heading. So we just did it. So if you do that, it will create a column heading. So here you can see that. So after break, we'll start from here. What we are going to do after break, please pay attention. It is useful for your homework that you are having data frames. Now, let's say you have data frames and your data. Now you may say, what if I want to add column? Can I do that? What if I want to add row? Can I do that? What if I delete the row, delete the column? So that is what we're going to do. And we'll do some more practice about the data frame. While we are doing data frame, please understand whatever you are doing data frame, similar thing you can do in vector. But in vector, you have only one vector. Anytime you have vector, you use vector name. That's example, in our case, salary. And then you use rectangle bracket and you use conditions. You can use and, or, not, operation also. So we'll do that. After break, we also need to discuss about how do I clean up the data. Some data which is bad, how do I clean up the data? Then we'll do some small functions. The most important thing today, which we are learning, is the data frame. But other thing like, how to clean up the data, how to apply certain functions, we'll do that